Hello, my name is Diana and I will be presenting the case study in lead poisoning in children. The rate of childhood lead poisoning is quite high, with 535,000 young children in the U.S. having harmful levels of lead in their blood. Those under 6 are the most at risk for lead poisoning, and even small amounts of lead can impact the growth and development of a child, as it can result in behavioral and learning problems such as a lower IQ, hearing problems, and anemia. Statistically, lead poisoning will affect 1 in 38 young children in the U.S. There have been prevention programs funded by the CDC that have established laws banning lead in gasoline and paint. So, though these laws have been implemented, millions of homes continue to have deteriorated lead paint and contaminated house dust, because especially those homes older than the 1950s that were painted with lead-based paint that have not been remodeled. So this gives an opportunity to educate parents of potential sources of lead exposure, educating them on symptoms and on sources that they may have in their home. The threats are to the children and families in lower socioeconomic class, because the houses that may still contain lead-based paint are usually older homes that are located in low-income neighborhoods. Some core issues: the hand-to-mouth behavior of young children increases exposure to lead. Children go outside, they get their hands dirty, they put it in their mouth, bad health problems. Another core issue would be environmental exposure to lead that contribute to lead poisoning in children. This could be from the water pipes where they get their drinking water, from the soil, lead-contaminated soil, where they grow their vegetables and eat them. So the priority should be really screening and educating on leading lead poisoning in communities, screening for new cases, educating the parents. Some alternatives: one would be routine screening programs in high-risk neighborhoods, going into low-income neighborhoods, and screening for high levels of lead in children's blood. A second approach would be community-based groups to eliminate environmental-based lead. These could be groups that go around, test the water, test the soil. The third approach: statewide educational programs on lead poisoning made available to parents to educate them on symptoms of lead poisoning, educate them on potential sources. The fourth would be implementation of programs encouraging changes in diet to decrease toxicity of ingested lead, as some of the foods they may be eating may contain a high rate of lead. So educating them on those. These all relate back to the socio-ecological model, specifically the institutional and community levels, because you are trying to the goal would be to make infrastructural changes in the places where people live. So community and infrastructural. The recommendation would be expanding outreach and educational programs made accessible in every community in an effort to inform individuals of the risk factors pertaining to lead poisoning. Another one would be establishing infrastructural changes in regions with high risks of lead poisoning. This could be changing the water pipes, fixing the soil, and obviously giving priority to those low-income communities first, because those are where the majority of the cases are. And the use of statewide screening programs to test lead levels of blood to find new cases and to get them the help they need. The short-term, to 6 months to a year, action plan would be establishing the community coalitions to have those coalitions go around testing the water, testing the pipes, and testing the soil. The midterm, 2 to 5 years, would be annual screenings for high lead blood levels in children, going into those low-income neighborhoods and screening for high levels of lead in children to find new cases. The long-term, 10 to 20 years, would be make a goal to finish all infrastructural changes, all water pipes, all soil that is contaminated should be fixed. Hopefully that would be done by 2028. The final step would be finalizing. Children are at a high risk of lead poisoning because of environmental contaminations of lead. So in my opinion, all communities should partake in annual lead screenings and focus on repairing environmental lead exposures. So focus on those contaminated soils, those contaminated water pipes. And the amount of lead exposure in children and all individuals was a surprise to me, in more so the fact that they could get it from the foods they eat. So I would intend to alter my diet to more nutritious foods and just take precaution. And this also pertains to parents. I encourage all parents and individuals to take precaution in buying food to minimize lead ingestion in children, and focusing on providing food rich in calcium and iron because those have been known to preventing lead poisoning. So thank you for watching.